Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Rao. Welcome to my evening broadcast. I'm going to change this time pretty soon because I'll be coming later, maybe around 8 o'clock. Okay. Uh, Today I got some free time before, and so I didn't want to wait till 6 o'clock. So I came on. I may have to leave early, that's fine. Um, Today, there was a big announcement by EPA that they were banning six PFAS, they call it PFAS. There are six chemicals that had been there for years and known to cause serious illnesses in the community, in the people, contaminate the water. All these chemical factories who are making it, they knew about it. It's like a tobacco people lied. These people lied for a long time. The cost that you are paying for this is the increases of several illnesses. It's a big deal. It cannot be described how big deal it is because in terms of protecting health and protecting people not suffering from these illnesses is a big deal, right? It is a big deal. So I'm very elated, thrilled about this because lots of people are not aware of these chemicals causing illnesses, but the companies who are doing that, they know. They have been knowing this for a long time. Um, so they just even though there were several studies and several conclusions, these are well read. There were so many thousands of chemicals that they're releasing that are causing a lot of harm to us, right? But these are really known chemicals, and this is such a momentous, significant decision by the EPA. It is cannot be described as something small, but it's like a very big, very big decision, right? In terms of protecting the public health, protecting people from suffering a lot of diseases. Okay, um, now a lot of people are not aware of this 6PFS, but then they are in your pizza boxes, there are in your pans, non-stick pans, and so many other places, right? So I'm not going to give the details as of yet because this just was done, and I'm going to study more about this, and then I'll bring you more details probably tomorrow. But I wanted to share the story's significance, how much we are losing and all. The societies locally that are going to implement this are protesting now, but the answer the analyst gave us, what is the price that we're going to pay otherwise? It may cost $1.5 billion a year, they were saying to the whole thing. But then, how much life quality and lives and everything that we are losing, how much cost it is? That was the very good argument, I think, because most of the people are not aware how much water is polluted, how much other things are polluted. They just take it as though everything is screened and taken care of these people. No, it has not been done, right? So I was talking this morning about the proactive wellness series. I was talking about how this environment health is important for wellness. I had no idea that this session is going to come today, and I was really pleased and thrilled that somebody was able to get that through, and then they have done that. In environmental circus, they know this is how big a deal it is, right? So you just happy that this kind of things are taken, and then people are really working at it. I'm pleased. I'm really pleased about the decision. And These PFAs are in so many places that we need to really appreciate that. That this decision is such a big deal protecting the public health. Uh, for decades, Americans have been drinking polluted water with these chemicals, and countless people suffered so many illnesses, even in cardiovascular diseases, even cancer, obviously, and respiratory disorders, digestive disorders, preeclampsia, and so many. You'll be scared if I tell you all those that it, like I said, I'm going to make a special detailed version of this PFS banning so that more awareness will be there among the people I'm talking to. And then they can really understand in a full-fledged way. Actually, if you look at it, this is what I was always talking about. The pollution of the water, air by the industry is way toward, because they only look for money making. They don't look for the physical health, mental health, or any sort of health at all. And they just want to make money, and then they take it for granted because everybody loves to make money. It will be taken like that. No, a lot of people don't want money, but they want a good health. I'm sure everybody, if you talk to them, they will tell you. Lots of times it is not noticed by us, or it is not in our purview or awareness, and that's why we kind of drink that water and eat that food that is contaminated. Okay, so this is what we were talking about, how we can really make environment around us not causing problems to us. Okay, that's why getting our own water that can be boiled and then take it is much better than taking from the stream, from the rivers and all that. Usually, people think that I'm drinking from the tap water, that's all safe. No, it is not. It is loaded with all these chemicals, six of them. Even though there are thousands of chemicals, the people who make them, but six of them well studied, and we know these are definitely harmful and we should take it away. Individual metals and all that, I'll give you the details of them tomorrow after I go through the EPA report and see what was going on. See, this is the awareness you have to have. You have to have what is going on in the community that is either good or bad for the environment, because maybe we are jealous about protecting the earth, and that's why you follow these things. But um, if any mom is told that her children are drinking this poisonous water, she would recoil, right? And she would say, "How can you do that to us? We want to protect our children from these things." So be aware of this kind of developments, which is a happy development, very good development that will help us to not have so many illnesses, and also help us not to die younger and not to suffer these diseases down the line, right? Tobacco companies did that way long. They said there was no harm with the tobacco, and then they got away with murder, right? These chemicals are equivalent to that kind of state, where all the things that we are commonly using are laden with this your water and the air and the bottles and the boxes, the utensils that you use to prepare your food. Everything has these six chemicals, and well studied too. It's not just okay, telling us somebody just like that. They are well studied, well proved to be causing these diseases, and then they also know the amount of money you'll be spending on your illness, right? So all that is really exposed. So as we go into the proactive wellness series that I'm doing, this is one of the components of that. How can we protect environment from these commercial companies that are only good for making money, and they don't care about the long-term health of the people, the plants and animals, and also the whole environment. That really have to be put on rein and put on control by we becoming aware of what's going on. It seems like people are just leading their lives blinded by the ignorance of these things that are going on in the companies. They may hear once in a while a story like, they are polluting it, tolerable limits, and all that. Nonsense. We just have to say, demand, no, we want nothing short of protecting our health completely. So don't spoil it by giving us all these things just because you want to make some money. And once you take that stand, then once you say no amount of chemicals should be there, then probably they will do less. Not completely free, but less. So that's why I kind of always talk about having the awareness of what is going on in the environment, in our water and all that. Probably many people have not even heard of what are the six pfas. What's the big deal about it? Once again, these chemicals are the proven to be causing enormous damage to the health of humans, and it is producing a lot of conditions, and all of them are propped up by this bad water, bad air, bad utensils, bad bottles, and all that, right? Anybody interested to talk about this, you can come up. Maybe Hakim may know about that. Uh, so these chemicals are so harmful that can erode your health very slowly, steadily, and chronically. And that's what EPA did. And then this is really hailed by many of the EPA supporters and many of the environmental groups that are working very hard to have something like that come. This is enormous, enormous decision in that sense, because it's going to really protect our health in a major way. Okay, at least for the future generations. So I'm very pleased about it. That's why I said I'm not going to wait to talk about it. So I thought I will go and talk about social. I was in Clubhouse, and then I'm here and talking about these things. Anybody interested, come up and talk to me about it. Otherwise, we will go into some other topic too related to this. You see, what it is the argument who are delighted about this decision of banning these six chemicals. Yeah, I thought Hakim would come up because he kind of studies these things. And so, hi, Hakim.
Hey, Dr. Rao.
Hi, how are you?
Um, yeah, I didn't hear about any
Yeah,
or read about any specific
this was on the
PFA.
news, evening news. I just heard it. And the analysis was very good. And I myself knew that these things are going on this, but then for the EPA to take the initiative, really heartwarming for me, at least. So I thought I would come and talk about this. So this.
Yeah, as I was saying,
Hmm.
I didn't um, know about that. I knew something was coming,
Yeah.
some decision in February. So I don't know if
Uh,
what you're talking about was that.
no.
Um,
This is a EPA. EPA administrator has banned these chemicals, and that decision was really momentous.
right.
It was
But what I'm
going
saying
on.
is that,
Yeah, yeah.
Dr. Rao, you're talking about this right now. And
Mm,
I was saying that in February, there
mm.
was going to be a decision about the PFAs or the
That's the same decision.
polyfluoroalkyl
Not
substances.
February, but then they just made it recent. That's why it came today. The
Okay.
ban happened, and then, of course, there are so many things that the groups of EPA groups or EPA supporting groups or environmental groups are there, and they fight different things. But this is something that was established probably decades, and all these decades they let people drink water that is polluted by them, use things polluted by all that. All that was happening, and nobody thought they would do this, and then they did it, and that's why it's such a surprising, pleasing decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, those things are they supposedly never go away. So
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what it is. Like, they never go away, and then they persist, and then prolong your illness or cause illness, aggravate illness, and in so many illnesses, not just one or two. So, as a physician, I was always against these kind of artificially telling us this is for your own comfort, this is own for your good. We are selling these things, but that's all bogus. They just want to make money, and that's why they are selling all these stories. Actually, even the water also they didn't care. It's like a akin to what tobacco companies did, telling us this is good for you to smoke. The same thing here too.
yeah,
Yeah. You come back, Hakim. So that smokers at one time doctors used to advertise for them
me.
smoking. Yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
there was a lot of that going around where for a long time,
Yeah.
doctors were telling people that cigarettes were okay. I mean, but
Yeah.
you know how it is. It
Yeah.
changes so much. Um, there is, sometimes they'll say that one thing is bad for you, like eggs have too much cholesterol, and then they'll
Yeah.
say it's good, or butter is so bad, but then they found that margarine is
Yeah.
terrible.
You know what is happening with this speedy passage of whatever drug is coming through through the FDA. They appointed some of the companies, directors or whoever, as part of this committee that is doing the fast approval. And it used to be way back, decades it used to take before they approved a new drug. But now fast tracking makes it within a few years, right? And then they appointed these people who are promoting their own products there. What authenticity is there? So it's got all of some are really true, like where uh, really long use of medications show us some of the problems, then we revise. That's fine. But also science changes too. Science is always approximating to the truth. But if something else comes that is really overcoming this, then they will adopt that. That's fine. But then many of them are not done. Even the studies also, if you do the studies, how they do, they may do a small sample and they claim 70%, 80%, like four patients, and then 70% is what? What kind of sample is that? So there are a lot of academic dishonesty and academic kind of magic happens where they want to produce some things. There is a book on how to study a study, how to test a test. That is there with us. So it's a lot of academic dishonesties taking place now because boards are polluted by people who are advocating for the drugs and all that they are promoting for their own sake.
Yeah, a lot of it I feel like is not necessarily due to the science changing,
Yeah.
but intentional
Yeah.
medical or scientific misconduct. Unfortunately,
Exactly.
that's how I feel
Exactly.
about a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, lot of
But
it is common sense too, Hakim. It's not like they are saying with a background of a real good double-blinded studies and the evidence is based on that. It's not that. So that's why we need to be aware of what is a good study. Is that really evidence-based? Is that really coming? Uh, But if you take the longer term, look at thousands of years of natural things that happened to the humanity versus few hundred years from the European based scientific research. Not all of it is really safe in Europe. They test a lot of things there before they come to America. Before they test Europe, they test in Asia. So whoever is unsuspecting in Africa, are weak people, medications and everything they are made guinea pigs first, and then they come. Even in American society, a lot of American African people are very scary of the COVID vaccine because they were treated as guinea pigs before. So this this kind of discrimination was there all along. Even now it's going. If you take India, a lot of medications that are banned here, they still use them. So it's a kind of metformin, for example, that was banned for the lactic acidosis in my fourth year or so when I was doing pharmacology, and immediately they kind of uh, banned in America and Europe, but not in India. And they used it for a long time before they could close that. So this is all lot of jadugari, we call that. That means magical dealing and then magically cheating us. But this particular six paths are known to cause illness for a long time. For decades, they thought they're going to ban them, but I don't know, things did not come through. I'll have to go more through the decision and more see how it was feasible now and what are the factors that they had that they were able to do that. I didn't even read the EPA director's report, and once I read that, then I'll have more information on that. I'm just delighted to see that, even if it's half true, I'm delighted. So, but that is a reliable source I was watching, so do think this is the reality. Um, if you think of it, go natural with what you put in your mouth. Go organic food. Go more like a you grew yourself. If that is extreme, don't think it's extreme. It's very possible. I always talk about this. I encourage my patients to have a small garden, if not a big one. Maybe some spices, some few plants of tomatoes. Start like that. And one of my friends in New Jersey, he grows a lot in New Jersey. You know, and then he showed me the produce that he has. He has a lot of it. And he gardens every day, and he's very delighted to cook that to his grandchildren, and then those grandchildren take all these fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, and all that. So it can be done even in this country with this weather. There are certain things we may not be able to do in a cold country, but then many of them are being grown now. And then there are new methods of growing plants and trees, aqua method. And China, for example, they are really going big on the staircase, like, so they take a big godown and then put all these, they don't need soil for the top layers, all of them. But then there's like a ladder approach. They put on all the steps of the plants, and then they grow without the soil. The technology is there, and then they are able to grow massive level of vegetables and fruits and all that. That's a very good thing because the topsoil is eroding by we doing too many crops in a year. The topsoil is used and abused enough that it goes away. So that's a problem. That's why they are inventing this. And in Dubai and other countries, you can grow this way. So there is so many ways that we could increase the produce in our backyard. So even if a few parts you have, you can grow a variety of things. You can make your own compost, and you can increase the produce in terms of productivity. So instead of trusting coming from long distance in trucks with all these chemical laden, you can have them fresh, locally. Best thing is to grow it in your backyard and go and pluck it and come back and cook it and eat it. Eh? So not even cook it, just eat it like that too. That's much more healthy, I think. So I always I'm fond of this homegrown vegetables, and you may not have all of them. At least some doses of them you can do. Um, Wastage, that's also important too. If you can convert that wastage into fertilizer, then you're helping your cause. Then very simple, dig up a ditch, throw all the wastage into that and cover it up for a few months. That will become a fertilizer, and you can use the fertilizer to make your produce organically grown. And then those are usually on the market, they are not available. Even if they're available, they're pretty costly. So this way you can save money, time, and also quality of the uh, fruits and vegetables. Okay, so something like a proactive wellness I was talking about is to be not only taking active steps of protecting health in the sense by living by what you drink, what you eat, what you produce, what you waste, all those things you can pay attention, that's fine. But the other way you can look at this one too, if I don't do those things, what is the cost I'm paying? We don't want to scare people, we want to make them negative. That's not the idea. But the idea is if you are intelligent, if you are aware of what's going on, then you would be skeptical eye of any recent approvals of drugs or saying drugs are the only solution. Um, I think that's a big deal. One of the biggest myths that they propose were that there's a magic bullet for every illness, and public also now behaving or believing that doctors can cure everything. That was there for several decades. Now people are released from the somewhat intelligent people, but still a lot of people place everything in the provider's hand, and then they expect them to get better. But all their behavior, like this uh, chemicals laden water you have been drinking for years, and then you end up in this kind of illnesses, then you have no chance sometimes, that reversing them or reducing them. So it's, as I say, it's better to be natural as much as possible and use the chemicals only absolutely necessary. Otherwise, we should revolutionize this. People are asking not to use the chemicals but grow them organically and make them available at a cost that people can afford. The reverse effect of that is you will have less illness to treat, and so many dollars will be saved that way. Otherwise, we're spending a lot of dollars for the illnesses that are caused by this passive ingestion of chemicals and other things. Okay, at least that's the way I look at it. I would like to see whether anybody has a different view, or you know, and do you agree with me? You can come and contribute to that too. I know these kind of things don't get traction because they are not very romantic or very big deal, because people want to eat whatever they want, drink whatever they want, but then they don't know what is in it, so that's where we draw a line, Fortunately, I live a yogic lifestyle. That means I eat from the nature in a pristine form as much as possible, and also eat only when I'm very hungry, and I like to keep my meals one or two a day, and then also that really helps me to keep my weight under control. I don't have to do fasting, so live normally, regularly, but not living chemically. you know that is the problem. The chemicals can be avoided a lot. So that's how I feel. You can do a lot of home cooking. That will eliminate control to some other chef, because they will make according to what they were instructed, what their management is asking them. They are asking them to make you come back and eat more so that they can make more money. And a lot of them may not even know what they are doing is going to harm people too. They may be doing in good faith. They may be doing it just to treat your taste buds, and then give you a good time that way. But you will be paying for it down the line, that they don't know. Okay, so and the people also have merry and eat and help ourselves and then have good time now, but they don't want to consider. You see, what happens as a physician, I do see a 25-year-old and he's very healthy and all that. The same individual, maybe 60 years of age, he may not be the other person who has done the same lifestyle comes with illness. So we know the consequence of what if you go on doing this. And then we'll say, watch your water, watch your air, watch your food, and all that. So you can see the logic now where I'm coming from. So I'm not like a physician. That's not my responsibility. My responsibility is to treat the people who come. I do treat the people who come to me, but if I can stop it, if I can prevent it, I think that's when I'm really truly a doctor, by preventing the illnesses. I may not make that much money, that's fine, but that's not my interest, right? My interest is to make sure people have good quality of life for a long time, and also they spend their time in jolly, happy state where they can really enjoy their life. Okay, that's what I was talking about. There are uh, from the time that I was growing up, the foods that we ate were basically organic, you know, and we didn't even have anything spray or anything like that, the potency of nutritious value of those foods was very high, you know. What is of late concern is the chemicals are introduced. People are using a lot of these foods that are nutritionally below value, to the degree they lost the spinal column like a half inch, 1 inch. That means height of the individual has gone down generation wise. So you could see imperceptible, hidden problems that happen, and people are not aware. It used to be you can be in a village, and then every house has a garden, and there are people grew all the foods that can be eaten, but then they replace them with commercial crops. That means tobacco, cotton. So what happens is now you go to the village, the foods that used to be available in the backyard, like oranges, any number of fruits and vegetables, they are not available there. You have money selling the cotton and tobacco, but you don't have good food to eat, and that's why their general, quality of being a human being has gone down by having the spine go down. Okay, so that's a serious thing that they have pointed out in some countries. So this is a very technical, very important subject, but fits into my holistic health I talk about. It's not that you have to follow some esoteric, ancient process only, but the principles of being close to the nature is one of the things that I really think we should revive, so that the kids are developing more bondage with the nature. You know and that's a very healthy thing from them. Let them go and discover the nature. I know schools in Africa, Europe, and India, all this, even here, America, in California, there are schools. These schools focus is to let these kids go and wander in the nature daily, so that they can discover small things like a earthworm, or small birds, or insects, all those things, right? and their imagination opens up, and then you can give them the anatomy lesson, or you can give them any lessons on different fields based on what they have seen. Then they will understand much better, right? Otherwise, you just make them work in this artificial generation of food which doesn't have the nutrients more. So those schools, they insist on making the kids aware of what is natural, what is unnatural, how can you be natural and go and explore that, and then really get life experience versus what is not natural, what is available as TV dinner. And then they're one of the worst about nutritious content, and people eat them because it's convenient. They don't have to cook, they don't have to clean anything. They just eat it instantly, and then but that's a very very unhealthy food, and a lot of additives, a lot of chemicals, which is not good at all. Okay, so I'm a physician who worry about the origin of these diseases. It's not like I only treat and then neglect everything. Okay, I worked very hard to educate my patients to about smoking, about alcohol, about the drugs, about bad food, about the lack of exercise, or resting and sleeping well, and also making our mind be calm as much as possible. Okay, so I hope this all makes sense to you guys. And if you have anybody wants to come up and talk about this, please come up. Otherwise, I will be closing in a minute. I'm going to go and do research on these findings and then EPA's decision and all that. And I will probably talk about it in the morning or in the evening tomorrow. Okay. Thank you very much for listening to this. And if you want to go and to do your own research, then come back and then we can talk about it. Thank you. Bye bye.